So I apologize, I totally look like crap this morning. We are in our new little home, and I have a little fun thing back here. That is my new little baby goat. He is a week old, and he's absolutely adorable, and I think if you hear him whining or baaing or just making little noises, he talks while he dreams. It's so cute. Anyway, he's back there right now, and the whole house is a big mess. Everything is all kind of pushed up against the walls and such because he needs space to run and do all of his fun stuff. So I just wanted to quickly talk to you today about paper and the fact that you can use crappy paper. This is a big deal because I have so many comments about, well, I really want to paint but I don't have the right paper. I really want to paint but all I have is school paper. All I have is computer paper. All I have is 60, 70, 80, 90 gram paper. Can I use that? Yes, you can use that. It will not work the same. There's no doubt about it. It will absolutely not work the same, but you can definitely use it. You can use it, you can play with it, you can practice your brush strokes, you can practice your painting and shadow and highlight techniques. You probably cannot use it to lift mask. I would totally just forget that altogether. But you can definitely use it. I started painting as a very young child, and I painted on whatever I could get my hands on, which was normally, you know, the 500 pieces, like 90 gram, 500 pieces kind of paper, which was the normal school paper. And I painted on that until I was at least 14 years old, and I mean every single day. Every piece I ever did was a big wrinkled mess, and if I really wanted to straighten it, I could put it between books, or I could get someone else. I don't recommend doing this yourself if you're young. I could get someone to iron it very gently for me on an extremely low setting to get some of the wrinkles to come out. But mostly it goes with the paper. So if you're using paper that's wrinkly or that will wrinkle, you're going to have wrinkles. And I think that this is something that we just need to kind of accommodate in our minds and say, okay, this piece is going to have wrinkles, so I'm going to include those wrinkles in my piece. I'm going to make those wrinkles beautiful. I'm going to enjoy them for what they are and not hate them because I can't get rid of them. You know, like, why worry about something we can't change? We can't change it. It's got wrinkles. That's the way it's going to be. So today I'm just going to quickly go through doing this. I'm going to do this in super fast, and it's so not important. It's just a little tulip, and honestly it looks horrible. I haven't painted in a few days, and I haven't painted on this paper in a long time. But I painted on this paper, it's 90 gram paper, using the worst brush I have, which is a synthetic brush, and it's here somewhere. The company that makes it is not important. So this little brush is completely synthetic, and it refuses to make a point. It's like big and clumsy. And so this is the brush I used to paint this piece. Nothing tiny, nothing delicate, just this monster. I need to clean it too, but this monster synthetic blob of a brush. Yes, I do not like this brush. I won't tell you who made it because it's really not important. All you want to know is that it is a pure synthetic, and it's not a very good quality one. Although the brushes aren't coming out, so that part's a good quality. The difference between synthetic and non-synthetic is that a synthetic brush will drop its water or drop its load, it's called a load, fast and quick. So when you touch the paper, most, if not all the paint or all the water is going to come right out of the brush. A natural haired or real a brush that comes from a real hair from an animal, or some of the really good synthetic mixes, or even now they have synthetics that are just like or almost like the real thing. Those ones, when you touch the brush to the paper, the paint just slowly comes out, so it doesn't go bloop. Now, as a beginner, if you're using crummy paper and crummy brushes, it can be really frustrating because you just can't get the quality, because the brushes aren't going to act the way you think they should act. They're not going to act the way that they're acting on here. So when you're watching myself, when you're watching someone else on YouTube, you're thinking, wow, look how amazing those brushes look. Well, and then you go and get your crappy brush, and it's like, it's so not doing it. And you're thinking it's you. It's not you, it's your brush. That being said, I would put money into brushes before I put money into paper. I know that sounds crazy, but it's because the paper, there's a fear with paper. If you buy really expensive paper, nobody wants to touch it. If you buy really expensive brushes, you're okay using the brushes. Typically, people aren't scared of using expensive brushes. And you're not going to ruin your brushes. You can use them a bazillion times, you'll be fine. You know, you can go to my brush video and look that up, because there's a whole thing on brushes and how to take care of them, and you know, when you get them, don't smudge. Don't ever do that. But don't break the ends with the glue that's in there. Don't crack the glue out, put it in water, all that good stuff. Okay, it's all in a video. So I would invest in brushes, but I would use crappy paper, and that way you're more likely to go through your paper. You're more likely to just paint and paint and paint and understand and learn your brushes, learn your brush techniques, learn your brush strokes, learn what your brushes do on crappy paper, mind you. Yes, absolutely. But when you eventually decide to upgrade to paper that's a higher quality, you already understand your brushes and how to use your brushes, and you're really good at using the brushes. So when you upgrade to new paper, it's like driving a Ferrari instead of a Fiat, right? It's like, wow, oh my goodness, I had no idea. You have to learn to drive first. That's my point. So invest in brushes, get some good ones. I really like Rosemary & Co. and I also like Da Vinci. Those are my two absolute favorites, but there are many others that are also good. I will put some links in the bottom below for a few examples of brushes if you guys are interested in getting some medium to super good to super good brushes. You can see this is super thin. This is just a sketchbook. 60 pounds or 89 grams per square meter. 60-pound paper, it says way down here, is really thin. So this is just for sketching, right? Recycled sketch paper, nothing important. Now, I went over it a few times. I added some water. I mostly did a little bit of wet at the beginning, and then I added color as I went, but I didn't re-wet the page. And then I went ahead and put some color in the background. Now in the background you can see that it's not perfect, like here, and I can't go back and refix that, because unless I let this paper completely dry, bone dry, and then I do it again and then again, then maybe I might be able to add up layers and add colors. But you really have to be careful if you're going to use something like 60 pound, which is kind of like computer paper. Like, that's very, very thin, because the little particles of the paper are going to come up. But anyway, the point here is keep painting. And it's kind of funny that I'm saying that, because I haven't been painting lately. I got this little dude down here. See his little white butt? His head's brown, his body is white. I got my little goat down there, and life is so busy. I got a horse outside, I got chickens and ducks. I've got 3 channels on YouTube. So painting every day is not something that I am really able to do, even though I'm telling you to do it. But I have painted every day for many years, and I am eager to get back into it. So I definitely recommend, if you want to get better, practice every day. Practice is the thing to do. Doing something for 1,000 hours is going to make you an expert, at least that's what they say, right? So get out there and practice. But learn and study and improve as you practice. Don't practice the same thing over and over. So if you practice how to drive, but every time you're doing it wrong, you're just learning and re-ingraining the idea of how to do it wrong. So if you go onto YouTube or get some books or take some art classes, or talk to art teachers and get good solid techniques and then practice those new techniques, that's the way to improve your work. I'm Scarlett, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Toodaloo.